Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurul Aprianty. I'm from English Education di Parepare 2018. Here I am to present about my research proposal with title Teachers Complement for Students and its Impact on Their Interest in Learning English, a case study at the second grade of SMAN 7 Wajo. The advisors are: the first is Professor Dr. Baso Jabu M. Hum. The second is Dr. Geminastiti Sakir SPD MPD. The examiners are: the first is Professor Amirullah SPD MED PhD. The second is Sultan SS MED PhD. Chapter 1. Introduction. A. Background. Learning is a process of activities to change student behavior. Change in behavior can be seen in various forms, including the student being creative. Creativity in learning is characterized by several characteristics such as thinking openly and being spontaneous, curious, and independent. Creativity in learning does not just appear but is influenced by several factors, both internal and external. A person will be successful and creative in learning if in him there is a desire to learn. This desire to learn is called motivation. In the process of teaching and learning, especially when learning English, several motivations can be applied by teacher. The teacher compliments is one of the motivations. Compliment is one of the strongest motivators for students' interest in learning English, as their efforts to complete homework and answer questions during the teaching and learning process will be greatly appreciated by the teacher, leaving them motivated and interested in continuing to learning English. Based on the explanation above, the researcher is interested in conducting the research about teachers' compliment for students and its impact on their interest in learning English, a case study at the second grade of SMAN 7 Wajo. B. Problem statements. Based on the background above, the researcher statements formulated as follows. The first: how does the teacher compliment her student in teaching English at the second grade of SMAN 7 Wajo? The second: how is the impact of compliment for the students on their interest in learning English? C. Objectives of the research. Based on the problem statements above, the objectives of this research are to: the first, find out the way the teacher compliments her students in teaching English at the second grade of SMAN 7 Wajo. The second, determine the impact of compliment for students on their interest in learning English. D. Significance of the research. 1. Theoretical significance. This research is expected to provide information and become related reference on how the impact of the teacher's compliment on students' interest in learning English. 2. Practical significance. The first, for teacher. Giving motivation and compliment to students can help effectiveness of teachers in the teaching and learning process. The second, for students. Getting a lot of compliment from the teacher can make students more enthusiastic, relaxed, and have fun in learning. The third, for researcher. This research can provide information to researcher to find out how the impact of the teacher's compliment on student interest in learning English. Chapter 2. Literature Review. A. Pertinent ideas. 1. Compliment. A. Definition of compliment. Compliment is a form of reward, incentive, or intangible incentive. Mushroom 2000. Compliment can also mean a true recognition and gratitude for the superiority of the cause. Departemen Pendidikan dan Kebudayaan 1997. Second, the reward gives a reward equals exactly 19%. Consistent with this view, compliment is defined as offering an award or distinction in the form of a souvenir. Salim, 1991. In addition, compliment is a stimulus situation or verbal statement that can satisfy satisfaction or increase the likelihood of what has been learned through action. Chaplin, 1999. The definition of compliment in this research is a form of reward for awarding an award in an oral or written statement that can complement the action being studied. B. Types of compliment. Number 1. Global compliment. Number 2. Contingent compliment. Number 3. Specific compliment and gratitude compliment. Number 4. Compliment with aging. Number 5. Reliable compliment. C. Function of compliments. Compliments serve different functions. One of their main functions is to maintain social bonds and connections. Holmes and Brown, 1987, examined the function of compliments and reported that compliments are given to enhance positive aspects of individuals, establish social solidarity, and strengthen social bonds. D. Advantages and disadvantages of using compliments. Compliment is thought to be more effective than concrete rewards when the goal is to increase motivation more powerful. Marzano et al. 57. It is still unclear why compliment is more effective than specific rewards, but it is clear that compliment is useful in the classroom. This is not always or usually the case. Brophy 7. Researchers now suggest that compliment has many weaknesses and can sometimes be more harmful than beneficial. Can lower when the teacher compliments students for their daily work. Students may feel that they do not believe they can succeed. Also, compliment is not always productive. According to Driscoll and Hitz, compliment only makes sense if the student cares about what the teacher thinks. Number 2. Teacher compliment. A. Definition of teacher compliment. Teacher compliment is a teacher's strategy for guiding classroom and student behavior on a long and true foundation of empirical support. Partin et al. 2009. The quality of teacher compliment is an important factor in increasing active student involvement. Again, the use of compliment is effective when the teacher knows when and how to use it. B. Importance of compliment for students. Compliment can be beneficial in the classroom for several reasons. Compliment can be used as a voluntary reaction to a student's grades. Soto, 2014. Unplanned compliment is more effective than planned compliment. But if the teacher reacts unexpectedly to the student's behavior, for example, you cannot believe you really did it. Compliment the student achievements. Instead of doing it, it can backfire. Brophy, 1981. Compliment can also be used to draw attention to a student's progress. For example, building a teacher-student relationship. For example, good looking shoes. After the students hear it's a great job, making physical gestures is rewarding and encouraging rather than saying it without expression or other positive strengthening action. Brophy 1981. Brophy is more than just strengthening the right behavior. Explained that compliment can be used in other situations as well. C. Practice compliment in the classroom. 1. Tell students that they will practice giving compliment later in the morning meeting or the corresponding advisor meeting. 2. Have each student draw in a different person name. 3. Establish parameters for what the compliment should focus on. 4. At some point during the day, observe the students' chosen persona and remember to come up with a compliment idea. 5. When the students give each other compliments, walk around in a circle and have each student talk to someone of their choice and give the compliment. Number 3. Students' interest. According to Manal 2007, interest is the central force driving the entire teaching and learning process. This means that a student will be interested and focused and will be able to more easily understand the material given to them by their teachers. High interest affects student activity because students' interest is what the student is interested in this case, interest in learning. In addition, interest helps overcome learning plateau abnormalities or early arrivals or frequent repetition. It also gives individuals enough strength to withstand fatigue and avoid failure. B. Theoretical framework. Teacher compliment is one of the effortless and most powerful tools to engage and motivate your students. Used effectively, teacher compliment can reverse behavioral problems and increase student interest in learning. Students who learn and think differently often receive negative feedback as a result of their struggles. Meaningful and appropriate compliment is even more important. It seems clear that teacher compliment can have a powerful effect on student interest, but compliment is often unappreciated. Even though when the compliment is applied, it really does work. Teachers who use compliment regularly tend to have better relationship with their students. They lose less time seeing problems in students. However, that does not mean you have to always start complimenting students for every little thing they do, and teacher cannot expect compliment to be the only technique in their classroom management. First of all, it's important for teachers to know that some types of compliment are more effective than others. Based on the discussion above, the researcher described it in a conceptual framework as follows: English teaching, teacher compliment implementation, and student interest in learning English. Chapter 3. Research Method. A. Research Design. This research uses qualitative research methods with qualitative descriptive. The qualitative method is chosen because this research objective to reveal events or facts, circumstances, phenomena, variables, and circumstances that occur during the research by presenting what actually happened. Based on Sugiono 2010, who state that qualitative research is descriptive, this means that the data collected was in the form of words, rather than numbers. Gay, 2008, state that qualitative research is the collection, analysis, and interpretation of comprehensive narrative and visual data to gain insight into a particular phenomenon. A qualitative research, on the other hand, is research that examines the quality of relationship, activities, situation, or materials. Bogdan and Bicklin, 1982. Furthermore, the objective of qualitative research was focused on facilitating a deeper understanding of specific phenomena such as environments, processes, or beliefs. In this case, the researcher collected and described the data. This method objective to describe everything related to the research topic. B. Research subject. The subjects of this research are students of SMAN 7 Wajo in second grade. In this research, the sample is selected by 12 students of SMAN 7 Wajo. The students will be classified by 3 groups: 2 male students and 2 female students with high scores, 2 male students and 2 female students with medium scores, 2 male students and 2 female students with low scores. C. Research instrument. There are several types of technique of collecting data in descriptive form, including interviews, observations, interrogator, action, research, focus meetings, and analysis of diaries and other personal texts. Techniques used to find data in this research: observation and interviews. This means that the researcher collect data from an interview some participants and who were learning English. Number 1. Observation. In this research, the researcher obtained data in the classroom using an observational checklist. The observation checklist is a list of items that observers would see as they observe the class. Additionally, the observation checklist provides a structure and framework for observing the types of complements used by teachers in the classroom. In addition, the researcher completed an observation checklist while observing classroom interaction by the teacher remarks. Number 2. Interview. Interviews are a good way to learn subject opinion and or feelings about the particular topic, even or processed at a very personal and detailed level. Kiale and Brinkman, 2009. Interviews are also a method of collecting data by asking a few questions directly to informants. The researcher used interviews with students. It's a useful tool to get basic information about my research topic. When conducting interviews, the researcher uses semi-structured interviews. What this interview is called an in-depth interview was more liberal than a structured interview when applying. It is related to Bernard, 1998, who said that semi-structured interviews are best when he has only one chance to interview someone and multiple interviews are sent to the scan to collect the data. D. Procedure of collective data. In collecting research data, the researcher uses several steps. The following steps will be used when collecting data. Number 1. The researcher introduces herself to the principal and then asks permission by given a research permit. Number 2. The researcher visited the English teacher and discussed the research conduct during teaching hours. Number 3. The researcher observed the class that will be used for research. Number 4. The researcher introduced herself in front of the class. Number 5. The researcher observed the teaching and learning process between the English teacher and student in the classroom. Number 6, research records students' response when the teacher gives compliment in class. Number 7, the researcher interviews the students at the end of the teaching and learning process and records all the response of the students being interviewed. I think that's all from me. Thank you for attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.